Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be comparing the Ford Tremor to the Toyota Tundra TRD off-road to see which truck is a better off-road pickup. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford in Provo and then to the Brent Brown Toyota in Orem for giving me some time with both of these trucks. I'll include a link to both their websites in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide as well. Let's get into it. Under the hood of the Tundra is a twin-turbo 3.4-liter V6 that's paired to a hybrid system and a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 20 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 437 horsepower and then 583 pound-feet of torque. Now, powering this Ford is the standard EcoBoost twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 16 around town and then 21 on the highway, with power outputs being 400 horsepower and then 500 pound-feet of torque. You can also get the Power Boost with the Ford, which is a hybrid 3.5 V6 that puts out 430 horsepower and then 570 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the Tundra, I would say that this is more of a street truck than an actual off-road truck with this TRD off-road package. It blacks out everything, which is kind of like the off-road thing to do, but we've got no recovery points, not a lot of ground clearance, not the best approach angle either. And so it has some downsides, and I think the Toyota could do a little bit more. And you really see that when you see it next to the Tremor here, because first off, we've got that visible bash plate there, and notice how the front end's kind of sculpted for approach angle a little bit. You got a little bit more ground clearance. Ford does do a fancy painted bumper, which is silly. Stop doing that, Ford. But we also have recovery points. So it has some more off-road stuff, but and also look at the height difference. It's crazy. And then the tire and wheel setup with the Tundra is more of a street truck setup. We've got 265 by 60 by 20 in the front and in the rear. So yeah, big old 20-inch wheels. I got the TRD logo on them. They look pretty cool, don't get me wrong, but not off-road wheels. And then you can see with the tires, not super aggressive, the tread pattern. Got those chunky fender flares. And then the Tundra does have something that is better for off-roading, which is multi-link in the back. And then we've got these solid Bilstein shocks, also great for off-roading. So again, it does have some off-road chops. But then here's your full side view. Now the Ford has a tire and wheel setup of 275 by 70 by 18 on the front and over in the rear, so much better for off-road use. And you can see with the wheels there, metallic gray. And look at that. Those are what real aggressive tires look like, Toyota. Step up your game. Cut the Tremor logo, fixed side steps. Now the Ford does have one thing that's a little bit of a downside for off-roading, and that's leaf springs. Not as good at soaking up bumps. And then it does have twin tube shocks, those are good. Just the leaf springs that are a little bit of a downside. And then here is your full side view. You got a little bit of a rake with the Ford. The Tundra is level. This is a little bit raked. Now, one downside with the Ford, no bed liner on this particular one from the factory. We do have LED lights. We got an outlet too. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think all trucks just have that as standard. Auto raise, that's slow. Now the Tundra, it's got protection from the factory. Got LED lights. Got an outlet. It's a little bit more equipment, but you do have to lift up the tailgate yourself, so I guess you'll build some biceps with the Tundra, whereas the Ford you won't. Anyways, you've got like the vertical taillights on the Tundra, very interesting design choice. And then something else that's not the best for off-roading is the exhaust tip. It hangs down, it's blacked out, which is cool, but it hangs down so low. The Ford does have these dual exhaust tips out the back, which, you know, they could get in the way a little bit, but the Ford also has recovery points, so it's got that going for it. But yeah, let me know which truck you like best so far. Legroom in the back of the Ford's great. Got a little storage pocket, some cup holders, charging ports, all of that. We've got vents. Got these cool camo seats in the back too. And then you can see with the stitching there in gold. And then solid headroom back here. Now in the back of the Yoda, a little bit less legroom. Storage pocket, cup holders, vents, charging ports, all of that. Fancier seats, I would say. The back of this Tundra. See with the door panel, trim, all that. And then there's actually a bit less headroom in the Tundra too. Then starting up the Ford, full digital gauge cluster. Built Ford tough apparently. You can see with the trim, you got the nice stitching there. Got stuff like adaptive cruise control. On the other side you got controls for the center. 1,612 pounds of payload. That's what the sticker says. Close that up. You can see with the windows automatic, for example, blind spot ring with the mirrors too. So it's quite a few features. We also have a 360 camera. That's another nice feature. We do have off-road cruise control with this, so that's an off-road feature that's always good to have. And then just a traditional 2-speed transfer case. We do have a rear locking diff. Trailer brake controls, all of that. Dual zone climate, heated seats. Got a little kind of storage area here. You can see with the shifter, some cup holders. And this is cool. And then the front seats still have that like Tremor decal and all of that. Double glove box. 6 auxiliary switches to add items to this. And then we do have a power setting rear window as well. And starting up the Tundra. Ooh. Tundra. iForce Max. So, same thing, full digital gauge cluster. A lot less payload. 1345 is what the sticker says. You can see there blind spotting with the mirrors. Pretty nice steering wheel trim. It's all blacked out, so nothing too crazy. We got adaptive cruise control, all of that. And then 360 camera system. A little bit easier to use than the Fords. Excuse me. Dual zone climate, heated and ventilated seats. So the Ford only had heated seats, so that's a big plus. Trailer reverse. You got that for the camera system. Rear locking diff. That's for the 10-speed. And then we do have a traditional 2-speed transfer case, just like the Ford. Off-road cruise control, basically, with the crawl control. And then you can see multi-terrain select too. And the center console is pretty cool. Just a single glove box, no double. But we do have a camera rear view mirror, panoramic sunroof, and then the whole window in the back goes down. I think that's a cool feature in the truck. Now, when it comes to pricing, that Ford stickers for about $67K, the Toyota stickers for about $70K. So with that being said, let's take them out and see how they drive. Let's talk about visibility here on this Ford before we set off. Over the hood, both mirrors do have blind spotting. Through the rest of the rear. And let us set off in the F-150. So, right off the bat, feels light. Definitely lighter feeling than the Tundra. The Tundra has like a big, heavy planted feel. This, it's a little bit more lightweight. I will say the back end, you can feel it bumping around a little bit more though. Now this powertrain's very smooth, but what I will say, that person didn't even look. What in the world? Okay, anyways, what I will say is that this engine doesn't feel quite as torquey as the Tundra engine. And it doesn't have as much torque, obviously, but I've even driven the Power Boost. I've driven the standard Tundra. The Tundra just feels like it has more grunt for some reason on the low end. This, I feel like I have to get into it more. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, but you have to get into it more. So, the seat's pretty comfortable too. Not quite as comfortable as the Tundra seats, but again, not bad by any means. I probably should have gone at that point, but you know, patience. Oh, actually, I think we win. So, get our acceleration here with the Ford. It's pretty dang quick. It's pretty dang quick. Again, 400 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque. It's solid. So comparing to that Tundra, I mean, I think it's a little bit lighter weight, a little bit easier to maneuver. It feels a little bit higher up off the ground. It is higher when you see them next to each other, but it even feels that way. Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of the driving dynamics. I like the, so I think the Tundra's more comfortable with the seat. This is maybe a little bit better with the suspension, a little bit easier to drive. I like the Tundra, like the power in the Tundra a little bit more. It's just, it's got way more torque, which feels really solid. So yeah, it's kind of a toss-up. It's like, do you want to go for the truck that has like the better feeling engine, or for the truck that has kind of like the better feeling suspension? And then the Ford has more payload. It's another big benefit of the Ford. Well, visibility in the Tundra. Over the hood, both the mirrors. Get the those through. And let us set off. Now, the thing that's interesting about the Tundra is it has multi-link in the back, which should make it more car-like, should make it a little bit squishier with the suspension. The Tundra's still pretty firm over bumps. I wonder if that's just the Bilstein shocks, because Bilstein shocks usually firm. But Ram also uses Bilstein shocks, and it's not quite as firm as the Tundra. So maybe they also just use stiffer springs, which is weird because the payload's not insanely high on the Tundra. So I don't know. Confusion with the Tundra, that's what I'll say. Confusion with the Tundra. What I will say is I love this engine. So much low-end grunt. And that's what this engine is really all about, is that low-end torque. And the hybrid assist adds even more to that. I think out of all the turbo 6-cylinder engines, I still think Toyota's is my favorite in terms of how it feels. Still unsure of what the long-term reliability is going to be on this thing, because it's twin turbocharged V6, right? You just don't know. But, and it's also got good power. Like, it just, it's such a, it sounds good too. That's the other thing that I really like, is the sound of the engine. It's like, you get the turbo whistle, and you just get this like nice deep V6 sound. I don't know, I think it's really nice. So all in all, the Tundra, it drives well. It's got good torque. It is a little bit firmer with the suspension, but it's not bad. It's not bad. So there's the Tundra TRD off-road.